Hey guys, thank you for joining. So, gonna go ahead and get started. I pulled a 3 card spread on a twin flame app that I have on my phone. It's by Cassady Cayne. If you want to search it up, it's really awesome. So, the feminines are working on changing the momentum. The masculines have new doors opening, so change is happening with them. And then self-love is the union card. So what this says to me, to go ahead and start, is that the feminines have been really working on changing momentum. They've been working on changing their perspectives. So again, we were really focused a lot on what the divine masculine was doing, and now that attention is being pulled back into us, we are remembering our power. The divine feminines here, this could come up in different ways in your life. So you could be challenged to see yourself having more high regard for yourself, having more respect for yourself, and believing in what you're doing. If you're working on a project or something with work or business, and you're really coming into your own and remembering that you have the power to create your life. And the divine masculines, they are now embracing change. So not necessarily that change has exactly happened right now. They are in the works of letting go of a lot of karmic energy, a lot of karmic relationships, karmic partnerships. So they are really remembering that this is a possibility. So have they necessarily have everything cleared up in their physical life? I don't believe so just yet. But they are in the mindset and coming into the awareness that these things are falling away and that they need to be taken away, and that there is new hope, new change. So they are remembering that change is possible. So we'll go ahead and get started with the talking about what the divine masculine is currently going through in his world. So we'll start there. Can I get a card for the collective divine masculine? 7th chakra, and it came out reversed. So yeah, they are coming in. I heard they're coming into inner union. So these divine masculines are coming into inner union with themselves. They're working on opening up this crown chakra. It is breaking through right now very strongly for them, and it has been recently. What else is this divine masculine going through? Yeah, I heard hope for change again. So the thinking man and door to value reversed. So with the thinking man, I feel like there's been a lot more logic used recently. It's like, as I said in my last video, recently the divine masculines have been going through this process of opening up more, opening up their heart chakras, opening up their crown chakra, really coming into fruition of this man that you have been wanting as a divine feminine. But it's like a bouncing effect. So they will rise and then they'll fall back down, and they'll rise and they fall back down. And we know this as we've been through spiritual awakenings, and that is the process of a spiritual awakening. So right now with these cards, I'm getting the feeling that they are back on a downswing. So they are really being triggered. Their ego is being triggered, and they have forgotten their value a little bit. So they're trying to bring this worthiness of themselves back into a true state. They are rebalancing what they see as their worth, that it's not all monetary, it's not all physical, that their worth is internal. So their ego is being triggered to then therefore reinstate this feeling of inner worthiness and understanding where that comes from. So your divine masculine may have had a lot, adjacent possibilities came out. So they may have been triggered by old karmic partnerships, ones that they have either left already or ones that they have recently left. And this could be it depends on your scenario, so take it for how it's truth to you. But this could be just past behaviors that they've fallen into. It could be physical third parties, which I will consider this falling out in that moment, the woman holding a coin, to be karmic partnerships. This is definitely a karmic partnership is being tested with this divine masculine right now. One that you have maybe picked up on and you felt energetically, and you are hoping that he leaves him. So like in your mindset, of course, then the feminine is being triggered by her ego, wanting him to make up his mind, make up his decision to leave, to remember his truth. So you may have been triggered in your ego recently to think that. Rest and rejuvenation came out. So I just heard he's remembering to recall his own accounts. So I take that in a couple of different ways. This masculine is recalling past events. So he's having even childhood memories. I got the feeling that this could be motherhood wound or mother issues. So mother issues with his mother as a young child, and that relationship. He could have not had a good relationship with his mother, so these wounds are coming back up, which again goes into the triggering of remembering his inner worthiness, and it's being triggered through this karmic partnership with this other feminine to really all bring this together. So his thoughts are manifesting in the physical world into action through these potential adjacent possibilities. And then another way that I'm taking it is that he is definitely being called to rest right now. So as you get triggered in the physical world when you're on your ascension rise, rest is definitely crucial when you're going through these up and down swings, especially with the energy lately. It has been going very quickly. So you could have felt this collectively to where you just feel like a lot of energy is happening right now. And we had strategy here fall out and the third chakra come out. So this divine masculine, yes, a good way for him is to remember that he needs to rest, and he needs to remember that this is a process and to be gentle on your soul during this process, because these divine masculines, they have awakened, they have some semblance of connection to spirituality in some way. So with strategy coming out and then the third chakra coming out, so with this strategy, they are really remembering, even though these triggers are happening, there is still some level of awareness, and they are figuring out now, how am I going to work through this karmic situation with this third chakra having their power, their confidence? How am I going to work through this situation? I have the awareness that it's popping up right now. I need to do the work. How do I work through this situation? So they're really coming into their confidence and power, remembering that, to be able to come up with this strategy to resolve it. And I heard once and for all. So to really, this is like a last string, like they're fed up with it coming up. They are aware of it now. They don't want it anymore, but they really are they're being pushed to make decisions and to just cut the ties. So anything else that this masculine is going through? What else is this masculine going through? What does his higher self want him to know? We'll go there. What does his higher self want him to know? I just heard do not fear, and then the yin yang card popped out, which that is definitely a twin flame card. So he's remembering this connection. If you've met him in the physical, if you've even been with him in the past, he knows it's you. If you haven't met him yet in the physical, but you know that you're on this twin flame path, or even if you are just, let's say, a high level soulmate, this divine masculine knows that these karmic partners are not it. He knows that it's you. He knows that it's not them anymore. He knows this. That's coming into balance for him more and more. And his higher self is definitely letting him remember that and feel into that. And then action and man holding a heart. So yeah, his soul is definitely pushing him to take action on your guys' connection, on this connection. His soul is guiding him to remember that he needs to take action, but from his heart. So again, going back to the beginning of the reading, they've definitely been more logical recently. They've been triggered in their ego. He's being called to remember, and his higher self is allowing him and pushing him to remember it's okay to take action following your heart. That was pushed down in the past by, again, motherhood wounds, or I keep saying motherhood wounds, but wounds from childhood that stemmed from the connection with his mother. And he's being asked to remember, take action. It's okay to take action from your heart. You're not going to get hurt in this connection. You are safe in this connection. You are safe to love. That's really a message that I'm getting from his higher self. What does he want the divine feminine to know? As soon as this attachments card fell out, I heard I'm handling. So I got, and I just was going to say I got the commitment, which is stumbling on words is definitely channeling, if you've ever had it happen to you, the Freudian slip per se. So that's funny. So this all ties together though. So they are letting go of attachments right now. They're handling them. These divine masculines want you to know that they are letting go of them. They are working on them. It is in focus for them to let them go, and that he is committed to you. He's committed to growth, and he's committed to you then. So he's committed to his own inner worthiness, his own inner growth, and that therefore allows him to open up and be committed to you, divine feminine. So he wants you to know that, and he wants you to be aware of that. And what else does this divine masculine want his divine feminine to know? Okay, so envy and the Magician in the Mirror reversed popped out. So the Magician in the Mirror reverse, as well as appreciation at the end. But Magician in the Mirror is another very strong twin flame card from this Energy Oracle cards deck. And so envy coming out, I just heard not really envious, but to not be afraid that you won't have what someone else has. So again, their ego is being triggered right now. So he wants you to know that during this ego trip that they're on, that it may seem like they're looking externally to the material world and they're comparing themselves to others, and they've been working through this disconnection from the material world in that way to reestablish true value and true worthiness. But on a deeper level, and I felt it in my heart, on a deeper level, what this is really being triggered as is working through the fear of thinking that this connection, this type of love connection, can't happen. So they're thinking, oh, everyone else has this beautiful love, but I don't. They're really working through that emotion and that feeling about this connection and the hopes that it can happen. So they are on a deeper level being called to and working on remembering that this type of love is possible and it's something that they want, and they are working at that. So we'll go ahead and stop there for the divine masculine, and I am going to reshuffle the cards and speak to the divine feminine now and see what's going on in her world. What is a general message to start with for the divine feminine collective? Oh, and that flew out. So the third chakra, rest and rejuvenation, and envy, and I immediately heard denial. So this is kind of funny because recently the divine masculines have very, very much so been in denial of their heart, denial of their feelings. That's really what triggered this ego death process, this ego trip that they're on as they're coming into more balance and their heart chakras opening up. So it's funny that that energy then has been cycled, because remember, as a twin flame connection, you are one source energy. And that's how the twin flame connection works, is that the energy cycles through. Like, think about it on a circle, the energy, and you have the divine feminine, the divine masculine. What hits the divine masculine is eventually going to hit the divine feminine, and vice versa. Okay? So it comes back, and it came back to the divine feminine. The divine feminine is now being triggered with denial. I want to channel a little bit more on what that denial is, but so we'll start now. Again, you see the mirroring effect happening here as well. So we did pull the third chakra card, which is the the solar plexus chakra for the divine masculine, and now it's being mirrored to the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is working on her power. I recalled that in the last video I made doing this type of spread. So the divine feminine was coming into her power then. So she's still working on this. So it can be triggered in your life as with work, with relationships, friendships. I heard for some with your relationship with your children, you're really connecting there to remember your power. You're being called to remember your power in the work that you're putting out into the world and what you're doing with your life. And if you're on a track to where you are breaking away from something, you want a new job or you want a new career path, you want to open your own business, whatever that looks like, that's coming up for you right now. And to remember that you have the power to create that. You do. You absolutely do. You have your spirit guides. You have the universe. However you want to look at it and however you look at it personally to you, you have that strength behind you and you can do the impossible. Rest and rejuvenation, this came out for the divine masculine as well. So we are in as a collective right now, we are all in a process of healing old wounds, healing trauma. That is happening with the divine masculine. Some divine masculines are going back again, as I just channeled, to childhood with their mother and really honing in on that and trying to heal that. So this is being reflected in the divine feminine as well, as you're going through your rising, your power shifting. You do need to rest right now. That is very important, to make sure that you have rest days in your life. I'm being heard is like, this is very significant to rest, literal rest for the divine feminine. So don't forget to rest. Don't forget to calm yourself and put simplicity back in your day. And the denial, so let's get a clarification card. So what kind of denial is coming up for this divine feminine right now? Woman holding a heart. So you, divine feminine, whoever this connects with, you are having denial of your own heart right now. So this happens often, as the masculines get triggered in their ego, it triggers the divine feminine's ego, but in a way that it triggers her to fear the connection, because you don't want the divine masculine who's in his ego. You want the true divine masculine who's in his authenticity and in his spirit. So when you see him behaving out of ego patterns and ego behaviors, your ego is being triggered, but in a protective way. So your ego is being triggered in a protective way, meaning it is going to put you into a fear state around being with this divine masculine, so that you walk away, so that you forget the connection. That's your ego working its magic. So denial of your heart, denial of your feelings. You may have been triggered recently. And I picked up on this earlier. This divine feminine specifically was almost in a phase of about to walk away again, but she was called to remember her heart. And she was able to work through that. So do you remember how the divine masculine, he has these triggers coming up with these karmic relationships again, but he's aware of them, and he understands that there's a strategy there, and he's processing it. So similar effect, again, that mirroring effect. The divine feminine, whoever this is connecting with, you have been triggered in your heart. You have been triggered into the fear of wondering if this connection is going to be your connection. You may have even been wondering, again, is this my actual twin flame, or is this person meant for me? Or just being in some type of fear around being with this divine masculine. But you have, again, as the divine masculine does, you have this strong sense of awareness, and so you're able to work through it a lot easier and a lot more effectively. And yeah, and you're being just like the divine masculine attachment cards came out. So you are aware and you are letting go of attachments. And I'm getting a little emotional right now, and I think it's because this divine masculine or this divine feminine has been in fear around this connection again recently, as well as the divine masculine. I think it's honestly on both sides, and they're really working through this. They're really actually trying to be so consciously aware that this is their person, and letting go of all other attachments, so all other ego-based attachments which hold them back from this. So this could, again, even just be their mentality about what a love connection can be. I just see two people sitting, one on each side of a room. So the divine masculine's over here, the divine feminine's over here, and it's like they feel so apart and they feel so alone in this, but they're both actually right there. And they are actually working very hard at staying consciously aware of what their heart is telling them, which is that this connection is true and pure and can happen and will happen. They are really pushing themselves to stay in that strong awareness, to where even though they're being triggered and their ego may be rising in certain different ways, that they can combat this ego trip. They have so much more strength and power this time around that they're not going to fall into that spiral of the ego trip to where it lasts for however long. They're really being able to work through it and navigate it in an honest way and get through it very quickly. So what else is going on with this divine feminine? So the all tied up card came out, and I was gonna say past. So I get the feeling that this is coming out because you, divine feminine, you have truly let go of anything that is tying you up. You are at the end of that train. You are almost done with that. The cycle is almost complete, letting go of anything that previously held you back. What does this divine feminine's higher self want her to know? Okay, the action card and the Magician in the Mirror, which is, it actually fell out reversed. I flipped it over for you guys. This is hilarious to me because this was literally what came out for the Divine Masculine. And you can see how strongly this is a twin flame connection. Whoever this is really connecting with, this is a twin flame connection, and everything is being so tightly mirrored right now. What that says to me, though, is that the more closely the mirroring is, and how it's able to then again go through that cycle, that process, that energy flow, the more open each side is. So the more they are in their heart, in their authenticity, in their spirit, the more open they are, this energy is flowing so quickly now. So it is being reflected where maybe there was like a few days delay or weeks delay or months delay, however long before, it's like it's taking only minutes to be reflected on the other side, to where they're literally in sync almost, to where they're going through this process at exactly the same time, which just makes me believe that because there is such that dynamic of energy flow open, that they are very close to union. They're in sync. And so this Divine Feminine's higher self is telling her to remember action. But action in the sense of each of your day, each part of your day, each step of the way, what you do for yourself and your heart and your spirit and your authenticity and what you know to be true to you and what brings you true happiness and what allows you to feel in your power is ultimately bringing you into union. It's bringing you into inner union. It's bringing you into union with the Divine Masculine. And so to remember to not give up. I really just heard don't give up. So don't give up, Divine Feminine. Wow, some very strong mirroring effects. That's powerful. I love that happened. The universe is magical. So let's go into some twin flame messages. Let's see what these twin flames are communicating to one another. By the way, this is the Twin Flame Mirror Dialogue Oracle deck by Diane Garbus. She's on Etsy. I can link it below in the description box if you want to purchase her deck, because it's awesome. I love it so much. I love using it. Don't rely on it, though. You don't need to rely on it. You can always go inner to yourself and hear the connection and hear what's being said. So what does the Divine Masculine want to say? We'll start with the Divine Masculine. What does the Divine Masculine want to say to this Divine Feminine? I'll get that in a second. Any other messages, Divine Masculine? Okay. It says, I regret what I said to you. I also heard I regret what I fell asleep to. So regretting what he fell asleep to in the sense that he regrets not remembering your connection. Okay, what else does the Divine Masculine want to say? Okay, a few cards came out. I feel like I'm losing you. I ran away from myself, not you. I can't do this right now. So, I mean, this is definitely clearly the energy that they are remembering. They are conscious of it. They are consciously working through it, but this is definitely the energy that they're being triggered by. So they feel like they're losing you because they are being triggered in that ego around their beliefs, around what this connection can be, what a love connection can be. So that's causing them to run. So they're in a runner mode, or have aspects of their life that are in a runner mode. So as a Divine Feminine, when one counterpart turns into a runner, one turns into a chaser, it can be vice versa. There's no one or the other. It's just what we're being triggered by, and how our ego responds is really what determines whether or not we're going to be running or chasing. So running, if the divine masculine is running right now, divine feminine, be very aware that you're not in a chasing mode, meaning like you can feel like, oh my, again, being triggered, like, why hasn't he broken off this connection? Why hasn't he walked away? Why isn't he here yet? Like those thoughts, that's a chasing thought. So be conscious of those chasing mentalities that come out, because if you guys are so strongly connected, remember the energy flow. So if you're able to consciously stop those thoughts and get out of that energy state and come into your balance, that ultimately helps this divine masculine come into his balance as well. And then, I can't do this right now. Yes, because he's in fear. His ego is being triggered again, remember. This is his ego, though. This is not his soul, not his remembering, not his conscious awareness. He's being triggered with this feeling, though. And then we went over that. So what does the divine feminine want to say back to this divine masculine? I want to contact you, but I'm not sure what to say or how to approach you. Yeah, I feel like this is coming from that chasing mentality, though, you guys. So be very consciously aware of that and be careful. I'm afraid of change. Yes, because your ego is being triggered, divine feminine, which is going to cause you to feel afraid of change. And I heard change in the sense of meaning, again, going back to change in the sense that this connection can come around. This connection can be loving, and it can be everything that you want. Your ego is being triggered into fearing that that is even a possibility, and then therefore you get into that fearful mode around any kind of change as well. What else is this divine feminine saying or wants to communicate? What else does this divine feminine want to communicate? Your words hurt me, and I know mine hurt you. I'm sorry. Yeah, she's really, so she has this ego trigger, but then she comes back into knowing that everything's okay. You guys hurt each other, even if this was only on an energetic level, if you haven't come into physical union at all in this lifetime yet with your partner, but you know they're there. This can feel like not necessarily words, but in that energetic push and pull, and you're remembering that inner awareness, and you are coming back into a place of love ultimately at the end of the day. So I want to pull just one last card really quick to end this, just a union card from the Moonology deck. So what's one card for this physical union between this divine masculine and feminine? What's one card? What do you want them to know about the physical aspect and union? Okay, so that's funny. So communication is key. And it's actually the new moon in Gemini, which the Gemini is known as the twin zodiac sign. So definitely, again, twin flame connection. Remember, communication is key. So being open and honest with yourself first. You need to be open and honest with yourself. Communicate with yourself. Communication will then come into play later on. The energy is gaining momentum. So this is the waxing moon. So yes, you guys, again, as I mentioned, with this energy, both of you being open and staying consciously aware, it's cycling through so much. We feel this energy even outside in the external world. There's a lot of powerful energy moving through right now, and it's moving through very quickly. So for you guys, it is gaining momentum. There is progression forward. Even if some days it doesn't feel that way, there is progression forward. And then prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. So again, union is possible. It is coming. You're almost there. Keep going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And I would love if you would want to join my community here and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys on the next one.